bad about it?
No.
Good morning. We're talking about all the things that we feel bad about in our lives and how to turn that around and instead feel good about it right here on ScreenJunkies Universe. I'm Roth Cornett. There's your bit of nonsense for the morning. I'm kidding. Lots more to come. Billy the Business is here. Gonna keep us on track.
The worst day of the year, Roth.
I know you hate it.
The worst day of the year.
You hate it. So Danielle Radford, Eric Goldman, because you were not in the car having the discussion this morning, I will update you that
okay.
Billy is not a fan of April Fool's Day because it becomes a little hard to decipher what's real and what's not on the movie bloggery.
If they're well done.
You don't sanction these shenanigans, I think is what we're saying.
Definitely not when you're like, ooh, I got the show all planned, and then you start reading and you're like, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
There's no March 31st? Damn it. Yeah.
There's already been a couple in our Slack channel like, wait, is this real? You know, pauses when you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, when I sold video games, I got really good. By 1 year, they said that they were going to do, I think it was Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker. They said, oh, but we're going to do it in a realistic style. And because the magazine came out way before April, you know, they come out a month or so before, we didn't catch it was the April issue. So we were actually trying to figure out how to sell pre-sales for it.
Oh.
Yikes.
It was bad. And then, of course, we got battle botted on the day, but everyone did that. So that's fine.
Oh, well, happy
Battletoads,
April Fool's Day,
This is just like a
everybody.
terrible day. Like, if you think April Fool's is like super fun, like, unfollow me on social. I don't like you.
You can continue to follow me.
I'm not that adamantly against it, but I'm guarded.
We have some real, I don't mind a little pranksterness. I was a fan of the Weasley twins. Let's talk a little bit, mischief managed. Let's talk a little bit about some real things. As far as we know, these things are real. Though the first one I'm starting to doubt because damn. Alexandra Shipp threw some shade at the X-Men. This is via IndieWire. We were just talking about this, where this happened was at WonderCon. Eric and I, who in our previous incarnations have done something called roundtables, can only assume that this is coming from a roundtable. And what that means is they basically, at a convention, they'll have a room with a bunch of literally roundtables, and they'll have 4 or 5 reporters from different outlets at each table, and they'll bring the talent, and you do kind of a group interview. So here's what was said, and the reason I think
there's always one guy that's
there's always that goddamn one.
Asks the worst thing that turns the celebrity off. You're like,
Sometimes it's the first question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they ask about their abs or whatever.
I had someone hit on Cara Delevingne.
Yeah.
When I did with that round table for Valerian to start with.
Yeah, fun. So in any event, we assume that it's coming from roundtables because they're saying a reporter asked. So a reporter asked Shipley if she... Shipley.
They're buddies.
Yeah,
she
they
calls her
hang
Shipley.
out. Alexandra Shipp asked her about if she was excited about the impending, the now happening Fox-Disney merger, which everyone, of course, is like, how quickly are the X-Men going to be a part of the MCU? And she said no. She said, quote, I wouldn't, because Storm barely has anything to say as it is. I don't know about the other actors, but, like, we never talk. So it would really be nice if we weren't piled into yet another jam-packed cast in which you only see me in the back of the shot like a frolicking Sasquatch. She didn't say the word frolicking.
But I didn't say it. I said the whole word.
She said the real thing. And then later they went on to ask about, she's got this relationship potentially with Black Panther. Would it be fun for you to see that play out in the movie universe? And here's what she said. No! No! I don't think Storm needs T'Challa, and I think she needs her own movie. It doesn't even have to be me. It just needs to be made. A woman does not need a man in order to give her validity, and she also has been around longer than him, end quote. So this is why I brought up that we think it's roundtables. Eric and I are imagining, and Eric, I'll let you speak to this, that maybe this was said with a little lighter tone in the room.
I have a feeling she said this with a smile on her face, with a we're all in on like having fun here. Not to say she wasn't also putting some truth behind it to the fact that we're all kind of in the background in a lot of these scenes and don't have a lot of dialogue. But I feel like the way she said it was probably said in a much more lighthearted manner than if you read it just read the words and go, oh man, she went on like a tirade. Because if she'd done something like that, it would have like we would have heard about it in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like they took her out of the round tables or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was quite as heated as when you just read it, even though, yeah, it's interesting that she said that.
Yeah, she might be learning that things that work on camera do not translate as well in print. Danielle, I want to get your take on both quotes, but first, Billy, what do you think of her attitude?
I think it's piss poor attitude. I really do. Now, here's the thing. Look, I will concede. Let's concede to the point that yes, it was total tongue-in-cheek, joking, sure. But you gotta know by this point, in this late of the game, especially with social media, like, you don't have the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the things that you say, especially when promoting a movie. Like, you should know better than to put anything out there that could be taken out of context in that way. And also, like, I don't know. Look, maybe she is joking, but there's so much attitude in this that's like, me. Why am I not the star? Why am I not in front? It's because you're in a team movie. Like, you were hired to be part of the team. Storm is a very important part of that team. The movie's called Dark Phoenix. This isn't your storyline. Calm down. Chill out. But now Disney, look, even if she's joking, I don't think Disney's going to be like, this is someone I want to work with. This is someone who just, like, totally just complained and, like, lambasted their product before it even comes out. That's what I do. That's not what she should do. If I was in Dark Phoenix, I'd be like, guys, this is going to be the best movie you've ever seen. And then, like,
I only
8
wish we
years
could have
later,
more.
when I did the Esquire profile, then I'd be like, oh no, that was terrible. I just had to say what I said. That's how you play the game.
Yeah.
You don't trash your movie until it's, like, in the bargain bin at Walmart.
Yeah,
we have
which
such
will
a-
be pretty quick.
That's the thing, is we have such a weird scenario with this movie, which is everyone kind of knows this is going to be it for, like, the Fox version of X-Men. I mean, unless they surprise the hell out of us, it's very unlikely we're going to see these actors play these roles again. So I think that gives them license more than they normally would have.
Sure. Yeah, this
if
is
she
senior
thought
year.
she was going to make another X-Men movie later this year, like under Fox, they might have. That would be different. But yeah, she's out the door.
She's put in her 2 weeks. She's showing up because she has to, because she still wants to get paid out of her vacation, but she's checked out.
Okay, quickly, because I want to ask you a different question. But just so you guys know, a boss of mine gave me this piece of advice once, which was that how you come into a job is how they will think of you the whole time you are there, and how you leave is how they will think of you for the rest of your life after that. And stuff comes around. It's all industries are small. All industries are small, so just because you gave your 2 weeks, don't necessarily check out, though. I get it. Danielle, that was not the point. I don't know why I just did and that's from your mom.
Give us some real life advice on this April Fools.
Look,
Give something real.
April Fools, who gives a shit?
I'm happy to give her the benefit of the doubt that this was all joking. I just think, like, again, like, the fact that, like, we didn't hear it and there isn't a video that we can watch, like, it's just this print thing. Like, these kids, and I don't know how old she is, but, like,
She's 27.
Okay, well, she's not a kid, but, like, these younger actors that are coming in, like, you gotta, like, media train these people. There's things when you're trying to sell a product, half of your job is acting, the other half is selling the product that you just made. Like, we're getting a ton of great performers and not a lot of great salesmen in this generation, I feel like.
But do you think there's any point to what she was saying, Danielle?
Yeah, there's a huge point.
Yeah.
She definitely made a point. This is when you're doing, what some people kind of call, like the cattle call or the pole dance when you're promoting the movie. Maybe not the best time to point out flaws like, hey, Storm is a major character in the comics and yet I don't do anything, because it's kind of, it's all the Jennifer Lawrence show. And also, I think she's absolutely right. The Storm and T'Challa thing I always thought was weird because it was weirdly retconned in the comics. I don't think that they needed to be together. It was just someone's idea of he's hot black royalty, she's hot black royalty, put them together. And I believe that was Reginald Hudlin, who used to be like in charge of BET. I think that was during his run. So I get it. And I do think if you're going to do a Storm something, you establish her first on her own, because she is such a major important part of the X-Men before you start bringing in any romance with anyone, but especially Black Panther.
Well said.
But you could have said the same thing. Like, I would have the exact same attitude if this was 2006 and James Marsden was like, yeah, they just put me in the back. It's like, I don't even disagree with you, but is this, like, the time that you want to come out and, like, yes, Cyclops is incredibly important to the X-Men, but to these films, maybe not so much. Like, Storm didn't have a small part in Apocalypse, from what I remember. Like, she was like one of like Apocalypse's.
It probably felt
people.
small to her, right?
Sure.
You know, because it probably felt small to any of the actors who were not the ones that they were putting. Even if you think of the original X-Men movies, like the ones that you remember that come to mind are the ones that they put the focus on. It was Rogue, it was Wolverine, it was Jean Grey, it was Cyclops. And then there was a bunch of other people that were there too. And like, yeah, we remember them, but it probably feels like she didn't have much to do.
I mean, also, again, because everyone's assumption is these movies are ending, including, I'm guessing, the cast, it's like, it's not like, and next time out you will get that spotlight, because, you know, realistically speaking, you know, that's why she even has that caveat, I don't even care if it's me, it probably won't be her, so, you know, but again, that also goes back around to the media training, and yeah, maybe while you're promoting the movie, you keep that in check a little more, but again, she probably does have that feeling of like, you know, it's a weird situation, they have to promote this movie that everyone is seeing as like, just the end.
They're seeing it as like, I think that, and how are you seeing it, Danielle? But I think we're all I'm seeing it as they are under an obligation to release this film. It's very clear from all of Simon Kinberg's previous quotes that he knows that this whole thing was to blow up this version of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And unfortunately, when that enthusiasm or maybe lack of or finality even that translates to everyone. They all know that they're not carrying these versions of the characters on. They all know that. They all know this is going to be the end. And they might also maybe not have a lot of big faith in the movie if we know it's to blow up this version of the universe. And I feel like having done junkets and having done other things, it's really hard to fake enthusiasm for something that maybe you're not enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
And they have to do it for months.
You're an actor. You should probably be good at it.
Faking enthusiasm for things that you're not enthusiastic about is literally the job.
Yeah, it's your entire job.
Also, I will be comic book geek and say she's factually incorrect because Black Panther was introduced before Storm, but I also kind of agree with her in that Storm was such a bigger deal before Black Panther. Like in the 80s, Black Panther was barely appearing and Storm was really, really integral to X-Men all the time. And yes, of course, I think Storm, it deserves her due in these movies that she's never gotten. And I hope that now that it is under all the MCU purview, we will get that eventually. But yeah, it's a strange situation for them promoting this specific movie to be like, not doing anything, you know?
Yeah, and we'll soon find out it was an April Fool's and she didn't say any of that at all. I think she did. We're going to talk about the box office this weekend. We are going to talk about the worst of the April Fool's movie blogger.
Just
do
all
we call
around.
them jokes or...
Pranks?
Sure. Yeah, pranks, what have
humor.
you.
Yeah.
Dad humor bits. But first, because Billy has yet to get me the clip of his niece getting off the phone by saying like and subscribe because she watches so much YouTube, you are going to play the role of your niece today and tell the people to like and subscribe.
Yeah, not subscribe. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
You have to like and subscribe, which, by the way, JT also says subscribe in all of his videos, too. So draw your own conclusions. Yeah, if you're enjoying this...
How old is your niece?
She is 5. JT is older than 5.
She will be guesting next week.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Which I'm pretty sure my sister does not want her daughter actually on there.
No, not
So
at
that
all.
clip
Yeah,
will
we'll
never go.
probably not do that. Yeah, that's very wise of your sister. I will back that up. So we are here every day. We have multiple stories, and we have another one right now. Dumbo. That's it. That's the whole story. Don't you love that movie? It's a movie. Look at that little girl. Look at the eyes.
The eyes are really...
Very Tim Burton.
Yeah, those are really huge elephant eyes. Okay,
He sees
this
into
is
your
via
soul.
Variety. Like, yeah, he just clearly. I think it's the combination of the eyes and the clown makeup that I'm reading. Usually, I think Dumbo looks adorable. I'm pretty sure he's assessing my entire
It's just like, you want to know how I got
afterlife.
these scars?
I think that he's just
I did every tweet,
he's just weighed every good or bad thing I've ever done, and it's been decided.
Dumbo sees right through you.
Yeah,
It's a
crazy.
little bit more creepy when it's like somewhat photorealistic.
Yeah.
Like the cartoon, you like buy it and you're like, yeah, that's cute. Then that's a nightmare
That's
fuel.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was hearing a little bit about the movie, but this is what it did at the box office. It underperformed just a little bit, even though it had an all-star cast. Danny DeVito, Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton is in this movie. This is Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland live-action depiction. Obviously kicked off this whole live-action depiction because whatever you think of it, it was extremely financially successful. Yeah. It was tracking to make north of $50 million. It made 45, so that's not bad. This is domestically. And then internationally, it made 71 for a total of 160 million. So this is like not a disaster at all for Disney, but it's probably also not quite what they were looking for. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we tired of these live action remakes yet?
I don't think so overall. I retweeted, I can't remember who did it. Was it Zach Stentz, I think? But I retweeted someone this weekend with my own thoughts who said, there's going to be a lot of talk about, are people tired of this? And I also added, and maybe if Aladdin underperforms too, and then Lion King is going to clean up.
Yep.
So I think there's too many of them. There's way too many opening together. I was legit like thinking I misread when I saw that Dumbo, Aladdin, and Lion King are opening in less than 6 months. Like, that's crazy.
I guess that's right.
Yep. May and July are Aladdin and Lion King. And then Maleficent 2 is in October. So there's way too many close together. Yet, I think Lion King's going to be one of the biggest hits of the year. So I don't think it's people getting tired overall, even though I understand that there's a lot of people online who are like, why are they doing this? But they're cleaning up in general. But I do think, look at what you're doing. Like, is Dumbo the movie that's going to really draw people in the way that doing Beauty and the Beast was? I just didn't think Dumbo ever had and what really shocked me was Dumbo cost $170 million. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why are you spending that much on that movie?
It is curious, and I think it's because of what he did with Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
But that's a very different kind of character. Mm-hmm. At least Maleficent, whether you like it or not, is a different take on the story.
Yes.
It's not just the same thing. Is there one that you're looking forward to more or less than the other?
Oh, definitely Lion King. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The cat is cute. You've got Beyonce. You've got Donald Glover. That cast is
it's ridiculous.
Stupid. Yeah. And to the point with Dumbo, I think that it's more of maybe the last couple times Tim Burton did this live action thing, it wasn't super the best. Combined with, as you said, Dumbo isn't Aladdin for this generation. Dumbo's not the Lion King. Dumbo is an older property, you know?
Stop zooming in!
He's coming for you for saying these things.
No, that's JTE's revenge right there.
You're gonna look out your window and see.
Fine, I will like and subscribe. Stop putting it up.
Why don't you love me, Danielle?
God. But yeah, no. So I think it's really Lion King. That cast is bulletproof. You would really have to try. You would have to deliberately try to make that not a good movie.
What do you think?
Well, I full disclosure, I haven't had a chance to. I just haven't been in the movies in a little bit. But of the three, Dumbo is actually the one I'd be most interested in because of the ones that have been successful so far. The only one that I really liked was Jungle Book because I feel like these work best when you take a 60, 70-minute Disney movie and then you tweak it and do something a little different and expand it. I want to see something different. I don't doubt that Lion King and Aladdin are going to probably just clean up all of the money, but everything we've seen, it's like, yep, I know that one.
No, because in this time, Will Smith raps.
Okay, so you're right.
It's a good point.
There's a lot of that was not in the original. I'll give you that. But that's why I love Jungle Book because I honestly think that cartoon is like watching grass grow, but watching that movie is really like they did something with it and they made it.
Bare necessities. The simple bare necessities.
That's like one song in the middle of like the most tediously boring Disney movie. I think their strategy always should have been like, let's take like maybe the B titles, and then make those first, see how those do. Like Sword in the Stone could have been awesome. Black Cauldron could have been awesome. Lion King, I'm sure it'd be great, but I already know Lion King's great.
And but the truth is, to Eric's point, that's not the message the studio is going to get financially because the one that will probably make the most money is the one that is the most familiar, which is Lion King.
Lion King will make a ton. I have no idea about Aladdin anymore.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Every trailer, people sway one way or back or forth.
No, I haven't received nearly enough Tobias Bluth and the Genie gifts. So that's my main complaint. Internet. to you specifically.
I also think, by the way, we should remember that they're doing Lady and the Tramp for Disney Plus, and I feel like after this year, I would hope that maybe a la Solo and them going, maybe we shouldn't have released a Star Wars movie within 5 months of the last one. They will not do this glut, but I also think we're going to be seeing some of the ones they deem not has huge potential going to Disney Plus, like Lady and the Tramp. So like if Dumbo were made 2 years from now, maybe it'd be a smaller movie that cost half as much for Disney Plus versus what they tried this time.
What do you think? We have an ongoing kind of like question, which is what is the first movie that they're going to decide gets a day and date on Disney Plus and in theaters? I know that's a big negotiation with the chains and there's a lot of complications around that, but we were speculating that Ant-Man and the Wasp could have been served that way.
I think for now, just when you look at what the the whole Spielberg and like the this standoff, I feel like Disney will avoid that for a while. They're just going to make it the shortest window possible, right? Because I've seen a lot of speculation about why are they putting everything out this year? Like, why is this year so jam-packed? We just mentioned all those live-action remakes, and then there's Frozen 2 and Episode 9 and Endgame and Toy Story.
Well, that's because they own everything.
They own everything, but also this year, if you look next year's not like that for Disney, but people are like, well, they're probably kind of stockpiling for Disney Plus. Like basically saying, look at all these huge movies we have. They're all going to be on Disney Plus by January,
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to start seeing is just this has quick turnaround without completely pissing off the theater chains for now, because Disney is one of the last studios making these event movies that can make $200 million in one weekend. So I don't think that'll happen that quickly. I just think they're going to be right as close as they can be without making everyone angry. They get all the money. Like 2 months after the next Captain Marvel or I guess Black Widow opens, it can be on Disney Plus if they're allowed to.
You agreed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think you're right in terms of, although I don't know if you're going to judge me for this or not, but the idea of those two little dogs in that scene with the spaghetti. Oh.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, you got my money. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to read what Billy wrote almost exactly for story number 3. It's April Fool's Day. Don't frolicking fall for anything, you marks. Again, frolicking wasn't the word that
But
he
I
used.
didn't say frolicking.
So let's talk about some of the April Fool's stories that have been out there and which ones that we like. I'm going to jump to the first one is also probably my favorite. The BBC has a skip the sex scene feature on their iPlayer.
This was the one that when I was looking for news this morning, I was like, that's interesting. And then I started reading, I was like, son of a bitch, it's April 1st. Because I was like, this seems like something like
for parents.
Like, do you remember there was some like video store chain? I think they got like sued because they would take like
editing.
Titanic or something.
Yeah,
and they would
I
edit out
remember that.
stuff.
I remember someone was doing that.
Was it Hollywood Video? I
don't remember what chain it was, but I do remember
big one.
it was a big one, and they got sued because they were like taking the like boobies out of Titanic, which my parents also did. I only ever had the second VHS of Titanic. Whoa! So for me, the movie always starts like 10 minutes after they hit the
And then
iceberg.
one day you got to see the prequel you'd never seen.
It was
all the
my wedding day.
characters.
My dad was like, "You've become a man. Here's tape 1."
Here's Kate Winslet's boobs.
But I thought this was the real one and I was like, what a crazy.
But it makes sense, right? It's just like an
Totally
elevated
doable.
parental control.
Yeah.
If someone went through and like on any of their digital stuff and just time coded the scene starts here and it hits there, like this is not like out of the realm of possibility of something that could happen.
And it's their own stuff, so no one could get mad at them for doing
right,
so.
exactly.
Did you guys see Isn't It Romantic?
I did.
The
haven't
Rebel
seen it
Wilson
yet.
movie? Yeah, so that's basically she keeps trying, she's entered into a rom-com and she keeps trying to have sex with Liam Hemsworth and it keeps just cutting to the next morning every time she makes an attempt.
There's an app for that.
There is an app for that now, apparently. Here's one that I wish was true.
Yes.
McDonald's milkshake sauce pods. Yeah, you just have a little taste. You don't need to feel guilty.
Oh,
I mean,
would
why
be
not
all
do it?
over this if
it's
that
great.
was real.
Yeah, this would be great. I mean, look, we saw the near riots for Szechuan sauce at McDonald's. So imagine if they introduced this.
Well, back home, there is a hamburger place, like a hamburger spot in Capitol Hill. What up, Cap Hill? Where they do, if you order fries, you can order like a shake this big to dip your fries in.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's perfect.
What chain is that? Or is it not a chain?
Where-
Just a
why-
It's
restaurant?
not a chain, but it's in Seattle. I can get the name for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Why,
That's
why
great.
don't more places do that?
It's genius. It's just like a little shot. You can dip your thing. You can drink it. It's like now Wendy's has the smaller Frosties.
Yeah.
Which is perfect because
yeah.
I can't commit to a full Frosty,
It's like
but I can
shake
do that
shots.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do a little baby
Frosties
one.
are too cold. Like,
It's in the
guaranteed
name.
brain
The name.
freeze. I know,
It's
but
in
it's
the
like
name.
more
It's in
than
the
any
name.
milkshake. Like, if you want a brain freeze, like almost instant.
Yeah.
Wendy's. Well, we're not getting them to sponsor anything anytime soon.
But I think they should do, brought to you by Wendy. I think they should do like small versions of all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, God, McDonald's, get it together. Why isn't this real? Tinder, height verification.
Oh, this got
This
people
is
mad.
This was mean.
This is also coming from a very short person. Why not? Don't hide your height. Be proud.
Something tells me this was like specifically to like poke men, not
Oh
women.
yeah, and it did.
Yeah, I bet.
Dudes was real mad, big mad, until people kept saying, "Hey guys, April Fool's is coming up. This is probably an early April Fool's joke."
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, well, what about weight verification? Well, what about how many kids does she have verification? Oh, I just soaked it all in. It was wonderful. How about if that is that her actual picture verification?
It's like once you get
give
too
it to
far
me.
into it, you're like, at what point do we tell them this is a joke? It gets just too far. Oh, I love it. Now I want to go
double
find
down.
some of those OG.
Oh, do it.
Yeah.
It's great.
The Royal Mint says there will be emoji-themed currency.
No one believed
No
this
one believed that
This one was dumb.
Piers Morgan launched its own version of The Apprentice called The Assistant. I don't really see why we can't have the assistant. Oh,
That's poo.
Poo.
Poo money.
that's poo money. Yeah.
Brexit's had a lot of
me,
changes.
yeah.
This one's the biggest.
Sir Patrick Stewart has never looked so good.
Doesn't that kind of
His little
capture the
voice of him
essence
on it.
of Brexit, though? Like poo money?
Poo money.
Yeah.
Is this what you want?
The Assistant. Why shouldn't we have that show?
I mean,
Really?
because Pierce Morgan's kind of a d-bag, but also this is
wait,
another
is
one.
there,
I would have
is
believed.
there a thing that I'm not tracking in this properly? Did he
For-
do? I don't.
Oh,
I'll
he's
ask
just,
you later.
he's just always been.
He just kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
a sucky person,
Just an
yeah.
overall sucky.
And he does it on purpose. It is his brand.
Yeah,
he
he's
was-
professional troll.
He
Yeah.
was. I think he won one at like the first or
Celebrity
second Celebrity
Apprentice, yeah.
Apprentice.
Oh, okay.
So like this is another one where it's like, yeah, this wouldn't be huge news, but it's just small enough that you're like, I believe it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because especially since that's a dormant franchise currently, so
Right.
yeah, you could see someone being like, "Oh, it's time to do a spin-off."
Get ready for updates on the ratings from the White House line.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of Drug Dog, meet Drug Rabbit.
Yep. This one I thought you would have loved.
Oh!
Do it!
You do not want that precious thing sniffing cocaine out for you.
No.
There's a little. Who's the cutest drug sniffer? Who's
sorry.
sniffing the
That's
drugs?
easy. You would just have to confess in the face. No! JD!
Stop judging us, Dumbo!
No, I'm sorry. I don't want my bunnies to be narcs.
Yeah, that's true.
too much.
Although, like, if
Judy
you had
Hopps,
in the
man.
face of that bunny, you would just confess to whatever immediately.
Now, if someone had put that out and was like, guys, Disney's doing live action Zootopia, that is a rumor I would have bought.
That's right.
Oh, into it.
Play the Shakira.
I need to see that rabbit a few more times today. Redbox, door-to-door drone air delivery.
That one.
I feel like it could happen.
because Amazon's dabbled
Yeah.
with the
But
drone thing.
here's the
so,
Amazon,
Yeah.
Redbox. Redbox.
Yeah, it'd be
They're
more
not-
likely that Amazon's launching their own
Right.
sort of Redbox killer, than Redbox himself.
Redbox is not droning anything anytime
No.
soon, for sure.
The entire giant machine will
box.
be dropped on your
Yes.
lawn.
For you to come out and make a choice.
That's right.
We're probably not that far from that. Mark Ruffalo says, this is a GIF, a spoiler GIF that never loads. I mean, that's just real.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely knowing his brand.
His was just
Yeah.
cute.
It was
Yeah,
that's cute.
Tom
Yeah.
Holland and Ruffalo have had a lot of fun now that they are like the known spoilers amongst
Yeah.
the group. So yeah, this is a good
They
one.
they really are bad at
Oh
this.
yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
interview clip where Ruffalo was sitting with
Yeah.
Don Cheadle and like totally
yeah.
said, "Oh, everyone dies at the end of Infinity
and Don
War."
Cheadle's like, what are
yeah,
you doing,
Yeah,
man?
exactly. This movie opens in a year, dude.
So Eric and I told the story the other day. We used to work at the same company, IGN.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember interviewing him for Civil War.
Uh huh.
And I went in space baiting him. I knew I was going to space bait him because we were like, oh, eventually it's going to be Planet Hulk, blah, blah, blah.
But it would be Age of Ultron, because
it was Ultron, yeah. But well, no, I think it was Civil War. And the reason is because...
Ruffalo's not in Civil War, because Hulk's in space.
Oh, you're right. So it was Ultron. Thank you for the timeline. He also worked at Marvel. Thank you very much. So it was Ultron. And we didn't know about Ragnarok yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but doesn't he go to space at the end?
You don't know.
It's not clear.
Yeah.
It gets in the
So it's like
Quinjet.
and then he's
flies
on.
away.
Yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
so it was Ultron. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, I was like, oh, talking about the next evolution of the Hulk, and I was like, I don't know, would it be cool to see him in like, I don't know, space? Trying to like throw it off to see if I could catch him. And he's like, oh no, he's definitely going to space. Yeah, it's planned. It's been written. And I was like. What's that? And you could see my face getting excited, seeing the clicks, and his face realizing he wasn't supposed to say anything like that at all. And it was just this amazing, like, how far can I take this? And I'm like, what do you think of Planet Hulk? I mean, I really like it. It's a cool storyline. We're going to do it. I mean, and we're not going to do it. I don't know if we did do it. I would like to do it. And I was like, yes! He's just so amazing and so bad at not saying things.
Where they had every single cast member from every movie do that huge photo shoot, and he's just on his phone, and then in the background he'll Sam Jackson like, I don't think you're supposed to be on your phone, and it just ends.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth finding on YouTube. It's like great. I don't even know if it's staged, but I don't think that one was. Tom Holland stuff is staged now.
Now it is.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
But he used to just
he used to not.
Yeah, but like when he did the Far From Home like script, the title, like that's of course staged. But it's using truth to fuel the lie.
Yeah. Oh, but I love them.
They're very lovable.
Yeah, they're the best. We were talking this morning about, and there's the line, right? Like when you go into an interview and clearly some actors are just sticking to the script, period. They've been over media trained to the point that they're just no longer interesting. And like one of the Avengers is that way. But I won't name her. But it's not Scarlett Johansson.
Anything you want to say about hair color?
But anyway, but there is a line because you want that authenticity. You want that Jennifer Lawrence magic. You want them to just say crazy stuff. But then there's maybe a little too much truth.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a fine line. Split the difference.
We call it shipping now.
A new term for shipping, yeah.
So the DC and WB makes a fake Aquaman 2 trailer, which is actually just a Shazam ad. That was just cute.
Yeah, that one was not egregious. I think if anyone thought that there was any actual Aquaman 2 thing, like, that's kind of on you.
Opening in 3.5 years, here's the first footage. Not so much.
I think the only way that could have been mean is if it would have been like the Snyder Cut. I think that's the only way it could have been made. That would have destroyed it.
If they put out something like Snyder Cut coming, I'd be like,
my
reel it in.
God.
Don't do it. Walk it back. Walk it back. Too real.
I already put sign, don't know.
Man, you know what I need before we go into Endgame is a catch-up video. I wonder who would make one of those. Maybe the Screen Junkies? Although we also have Eric here just to remind us of all the facts.
All right, let me take you through it.
You know what? What was the year?
We start with Tony.
What was the year that you and I totally legally snuck into the Marvel panel at the end of the day?
In a completely legal way.
Right.
It was 2 years ago?
Yeah, but remember they had Luis from Ant-Man
We were
do
in
the
no
whole...
way waiting for
Oh yeah,
the
that was
guards.
2 years ago because it was when they showed that Infinity War footage.
Yeah.
I know that was a con exclusive, but that was like the best like catch-up video.
It was great.
I don't know, like someday they have to release that.
I would hope so. At the time, I remember saying, "Oh, I don't think they'll release this because it was like a little more like taking barbs at themselves. Like they did like a joke about so it was Luis from Ant-Man giving you a catch-up on everything that had happened in the Marvel Universe, and it turns out he's talking to Michelle Pfeiffer. It was the reveal that she'd be in Ant-Man and the Wasp. But I remember they made some jokes, like they did the thing about like Incredible Hulk. I don't remember what happened in that.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. And they did a thing that now legally maybe they could get away with more because they had a very funny thing where they said, Captain America the First Avenger, Steve Rogers, regular guy, and they hold up a picture of him as Johnny Storm, of Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Right.
So at the time I'm like, well, there's no way that would legally get cleared to like release that
Because
Fox
now
was a
they
separate
could.
company. But now
I want a catch-up video that also features him just like, hey, so you want to catch up on Marvel, all of the like school training videos that he did for Homecoming, like just have Chris Evans take us through it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We will have
point
it.
counterpoint with Luis and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
There you go.
We will have that right here on Screen Junkies eventually in the next month. Before
Cram it.
we're gonna have a cram it.
We're gonna cram
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna cram it.
Just in case,
Yeah.
you get your Age of Ultrons and Civil Wars mixed up, we'll make sure you know where.
I don't get those two movies mixed up. I just couldn't remember at what point he went up in the Quinjet.
Right,
So
right.
I guess I do get them mixed up.
So that's exactly,
That's exactly
getting them
that
mixed up.
Yeah.
Hey, can I quickly tell my Civil War spoiler story?
Yeah.
When I was on the set of Civil War, it was just funny. We're talking about Tom Holland. This is Tom Holland related, which is I was on the set of Civil War, and like that weekend, it was in the trades like they're down to the 3 final choices for Spider-Man. Tom Holland being one of them. So of course, every single person we talked to that day, we're like, "So what can you say about Spider-Man?" And guess what? They all say we can't say anything, or Spider-Man was on in this movie, or I haven't heard anything about that. There was a lot of like, let's avoid anything about confirming Spider-Man is in this movie. Whole day, every actor sticks to that. Writers, director. I think the Russos were a little more like, if we were able to introduce Spider-Man without admitting it. And then we were walked into and we got to see a bunch of costume stuff.
I remember this.
Yeah, and we were talking to a few people, and we go, "Oh, what's the most challenging costume to work on?" And someone goes, "The Spider-Man costume."
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where you see us all look at each other like, "Did you just say that?" Yes.
and then you just quietly don't want to give it away, and you start going with it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We
Like,
start
"Oh,
asking some
well, that's
follow-up
hard."
questions, getting some info, and then the publicist.
Yeah, you're like, is it hard being more traditional, or was it like finding new ways?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's amazing. And
There's
Corey-
always funny things that like, happen like that, where it's like, yeah, just suddenly you get a weird. I think someone also overheard. I wasn't there when this happened, but someone actually overheard a walkie-talkie go, "I'm over at the Spider-Man stage." So
Yeah.
there's always
That's
weird stuff like that.
fantastic.
So I was on the set for where Vision and Thor are fighting. Which one is that?
Vision and Thor. Well, they would have.
That's Age of Ultron.
It's
Age of
Ultron,
Ultron.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, because it was Joss Whedon looking like he wanted
Yeah.
to die, and they had
Yep,
they had
definitely
in
Oh, sure.
Stark they had like Stark Labs, right? So you're in the office, and there's all these like dossiers, but one of the dossiers is about Claw, and we're all like. And so we like quickly started sneaking over and taking pictures of the dossier, assuming this was actually going to lead. You should definitely continue to invite us on your set.
But we didn't reveal these things.
We
No,
didn't
stuck to
reveal any of
embargo.
this stuff.
I think
We
this
stuck to the
proves that we
embargo.
are worthy.
I think we're very trustworthy. Right, Danielle?
I trust me.
And on that note,
I'm going to throw in one quick other thing, which is just being on the 24 set, and there was a detailed dossier about the death of a pretty prominent character that I was like impressed that the set deck went to. It was like listing because it was supposed to be like an in character. Like I gave this dossier on someone's death, but I was like, wow, they went to all this trouble and it's giving everything away about how the season's going to end. But we all didn't reveal it.
see, I think that's the
main
point.
here.
The
Yes.
point is that we can be trusted.
Years later, we can talk about it in a jovial manner.
In a
Yeah.
jovial manner,
That's right.
exactly. There's no Charting with Dan today. Dan is out of town this week. However, we just told you some of the basic facts about the box office, so that's good. He will be back next week with an extra size charting, I presume.
Sure.
Honest Trailers is
Why
out
not?
tomorrow. And Honest
April
Trailers
Fools,
coming.
don't care.
Don't believe anything.
We do have Honest Trailers commentaries. This is a really fun one, you guys. We got to see it at the sneak peek at WonderCon on Friday, which was really fun. We did a fun movie fights. Eric and I battled it out about Game of Thrones.
That's
Danielle, did you work on this one that's coming out on Tuesday?
did.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I really love it. So be excited. Check that out. Lots of good things ahead this week, and we will be back with more things tomorrow. So thanks for joining us today, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What other secrets do we know? We can't be trusted in an interview either.